Imagine a chaotic room where everyone is fighting to be heard, shouting over one another, desperate for attention. But the most dangerous person in that room, they aren't raising their voice. They are sitting quietly, watching. Society has conditioned you to believe that if you aren't talking, you aren't doing anything. We are taught that constant chatter equals confidence, action, and leadership. But here is the uncomfortable truth. The compulsive need to fill every silence is a trap. It is a mask for insecurity and a desperate plea for validation. Every time you speak unnecessarily, you leak power. You give away your leverage, making yourself predictable, easy to read, and ultimately easy to manipulate. This video will dismantle that illusion. We will decode the exact psychology of why formidable people use restraint as a calculated tool. I will show you how mastering the economy of words will instantly elevate your authority, obscure your vulnerabilities, and grant you undeniable dominance in any environment. And pay close attention, because by the time we uncover the fifth stage of this breakdown, you will know exactly how to weaponize a single, unbroken silence to completely unravel an aggressor in any conflict. True power is reserved for those willing to learn its quietest rules. Hit that subscribe button and join this community. Do not watch from the sidelines while others master the psychology of leverage. To understand why the most dangerous person in the room stays quiet, you must first understand the concept of information asymmetry. In any interaction, there is a constant flow of data. Most people treat conversation like a cooperative game of tennis, a polite back and forth designed to make everyone feel comfortable. But the powerful see it differently. They view every word as a potential leak of intelligence. When you speak, you are inadvertently revealing your emotional state, your priorities, and your limits. You are handing over the very map someone needs to navigate your mind. We have all seen the oversharer in a high-stakes meeting or a social gathering. Driven by a nervous need to be liked or understood, they reveal their bottom line, their frustrations, and their fears, all before the other side has even asked a question. By the time they stop talking, they have surrendered every ounce of leverage they possessed. Now, consider the alternative. By maintaining silence, you become a black hole for information. You collect data on group dynamics, hidden agendas, and personal triggers without returning a single byte of your own. You force others to fill the void, and in that vacuum, people always say more than they intended. They begin to ramble, to explain themselves, and eventually to confess their vulnerabilities. Remember this: the person who speaks least is the only one who truly knows what is happening in the room. Silence isn't just a lack of sound, it is an unbreachable intellectual fortress. Beyond gathering information, silence performs a second, more visible function. It creates authority through scarcity. Think of your words as a currency. In any economy, when a commodity is overproduced, its value plummets. If you are a constant fountain of noise, your words become background static. People stop listening because they know there is always more coming. However, when you speak rarely, you create a premium on your voice. This is the economy of words. Observe the most respected figures in any field. They don't chime in on every minor point or feel the need to narrate their every thought. They wait. When they finally do speak, the room doesn't just listen, it falls into a heavy, expectant silence. Because your words are scarce, they are perceived as carefully weighed, deeply considered, and inherently more valuable. You aren't just making a point, you are delivering a verdict. I want to pause here and acknowledge your commitment. Most people would have clicked away by now, distracted by the very noise we are discussing. The fact that you are still tuned in proves you have the rare mental discipline required to actually master these traits. You are already beginning to separate yourself from the impulsive majority. But authority is only half the battle. To be truly formidable, you must combine that authority with an element of the unknown. It is one thing to be respected. It is another to be unpredictable. We are moving now into the most strategic application of silence, the power of remaining an unsolved mystery. Building directly on the idea of the unsolved mystery, we arrive at a fundamental rule of human psychology: always say less than necessary. Human beings are deeply unsettled by the unknown. We are wired to seek patterns, and when you explain yourself constantly, you become a known variable. You become predictable. And in any competitive environment, predictability makes you an easy target. When people know exactly what you are thinking, they know exactly how to manipulate you. By keeping your intentions hidden, you turn the tables. You force others to project their own insecurities, respect, and assumptions onto your silence. Think about the deeply unsettling feeling of sending a long, emotionally charged message, only to receive a calm two-word response. That complete lack of context instantly shifts the balance of power. The person who said less controls the dynamic because they refuse to participate in the emotional chaos. Their mystery acts as an active defense mechanism, forcing opponents to constantly second-guess their next move. This level of unpredictability is a powerful weapon, but it requires a foundation of absolute internal control. You cannot wield silence effectively if you are secretly craving the room's approval. To truly command this power, we must examine the internal engine that drives the silent strategist. In our next stage, we will explore emotional sovereignty, the profound realization that you do not need the validation of anyone else to know that you already own the room. True unpredictability is impossible without emotional sovereignty. The reason most people cannot remain silent is because they are addicted to external validation. They speak simply to prove they belong in the room, to show they are smart, or to ensure they are liked. But a truly dangerous person operates entirely on internal validation. They already know their worth, so they feel absolutely zero pressure to perform for the egos of others. Think about the last time you were in a conversation and an awkward pause settled over the group. What happened? Within 5 seconds, someone panicked and blurted out something meaningless just to break the tension. The physical inability to sit in silence is a glaring display of emotional fragility. Now, picture the person who can comfortably exist in that heavy, quiet, unbroken, and completely unfazed. By refusing to rescue the conversation, they demonstrate absolute internal control. They signal that they are entirely unbothered by the social pressure to conform or entertain. When you stop using your words to seek approval, you instantly radiate an aura of untouchable authority. You stop being a participant scrambling for a seat at the table, and you become the host. But what happens when this quiet control is actively challenged? Emotional sovereignty is your unbreakable shield, but silence can also be an incredibly sharp sword. In our fifth and final stage, we will look at how to weaponize the pause, using pure silence to completely break an aggressor in the middle of a conflict. We have established silence as an unbreachable fortress and an unbreakable shield. But what happens when you are actively challenged? This is where silence transforms from a defensive posture into a devastatingly sharp sword. Welcome to the weaponized pause. In high-stakes environments, whether it is a tense negotiation, a workplace confrontation, or an aggressive personal attack, your instinct will always scream at you to fight back. When someone insults you, raises their voice, or attempts to provoke a reaction, they are desperately trying to drag you into their emotional chaos. If you shout back, you have validated their attack. You have stepped into their frame. Instead, imagine responding to that aggression with immediate, heavy silence and unbroken eye contact. By refusing to engage, you instantly strip the aggressor of their momentum. Your silence acts as a psychological mirror. Without your reaction to feed off, they are suddenly left alone in the room with the echo of their own outburst. They are forced to sit with their own embarrassing lack of composure. This is a classic tactic used by elite negotiators. They will clearly state their terms, and then they will refuse to speak another word. They let the immense, crushing weight of the quiet do the work for them, waiting patiently as the other party inevitably caves under the pressure to fill the void. You do not ever need to raise your voice to win a fight. A perfectly timed, weaponized pause will shatter an opponent's confidence far faster than anger ever could. Now that you hold this arsenal, we must discuss the discipline required to wield it. All the strategies we've discussed, Information gathering, scarcity, mystery, and weaponized pauses converge into a single defining attribute, the master's discipline. Silence is not about being shy, passive, or socially awkward. It is a calculated, active choice that requires more strength than speaking ever will. It is the external manifestation of an internal empire. By choosing silence, you gather intelligence, preserve your value, project absolute control, and dominate conflicts without ever raising your voice. We live in a hyper-connected, noisy world that rewards oversharing and demands instant reactions. In this environment, holding back is a superpower. It is incredibly difficult to resist the urge to explain yourself or to defend your ego, but that resistance is exactly what separates the powerful from the average. This level of self-mastery is rare, which is precisely why it is so formidable. I challenge you, in your very next high-stakes conversation, try cutting your word count in half. Do not fill the gaps. Do not explain your silence. Simply watch how the room shifts around you as you withdraw your noise and exert your presence. You will find that true power isn't just found in what you choose to say, it is found in everything you choose to leave unsaid. Stay disciplined. Keep them guessing. And above all, never let the world know your next move. Thank you for being part of this community. We'll speak again in the next one.